Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the secrets hidden within financial filings. Let's just say today's report is less about massive financial swings and more about a very specific executive payout. And trust me, it involves more insider talk than you might think. Today we are diving into a filing from Warner Bros. Discovery Incorporated. Now, this report isn't a massive quarterly earnings dump, but it does shed light on something pretty interesting related to their CEO David Zaslav and some stock options. This is essentially a look at an adjustment to his compensation that happened on the 5th of January 2026. It all started a while back with an employment agreement signed in June of 2025. As part of that deal, Mr. Zaslav was given special stock options. Think of stock options like a coupon that lets you buy company stock at a set price in the future. These initial options had an exercise price, meaning that is how much he'd pay per S-hair of $10.16. Then the agreement laid out a second batch of options planned for the 2nd of January 2026. The key here is that the price for these new options wasn't fixed at $10.16. Instead, it was going to be the closing price of the company's series of common stock on that specific date, the 2nd of January 2026, and that closing price turned out to be $28.51. So right away, you see a big jump in the exercise price compared to the first set of options from $10.16 to $28.51. Now, the original agreement had a little clause in it. It said if the exercise price for these follow-on options was higher than the price of the initial options, they would need to talk about how to make up for that lost economic value. Because naturally, when the price you have to pay to buy stock goes up significantly, the potential profit you can make from those options goes down, or at least the value of those options as a whole is impacted. So after looking at different ways to balance things out, including some ideas already mentioned in the original agreement, the Compensation Committee of the Board of Directors decided on a specific approach. They decided to grant Mr. Zaslav restricted stock units. Now, restricted stock units, or RSUs, are another form of stock-based compensation. They represent a promise to give you company stock at a future date, often after you meet certain conditions like staying with the company for a set time. The value of these RS was set to match the difference in value caused by that higher exercise price on the follow-on options. In plain English, they essentially gave him a value in RSUs to make up for the fact that his new stock options were going to cost him a lot more to exercise. On the 5th of January 2026, this resulted in Mr. Zaslav being granted restricted stock units for 1963465 shares of the company's common stock. The vesting terms, meaning when he actually gets to own these units fully, are the same as what still applies to his initial stock options. The filing mentions that the A and R Zaslav agreement, which was filed earlier, and these new option and RSU agreements are all important documents. They are incorporated by reference, which means they are considered part of this filing. The report lists the form of David Zaslav non-qualified stock option grant agreement as Exhibit 10.1, and the form of David Zaslav RSU grant agreement as Exhibit 10.2. And as is standard for these kinds of filings, they also include the inline XBRL instance document and the cover page interactive data file. These are electronic formats that help make the financial data machine readable for analysis, which is super helpful for us when we're trying to break down the numbers. Finally, the report is signed by Tara L. Smith, who is the Executive Vice President and Corporate Secretary for Warner Bros. Discovery Incorporated. This confirms the filing has been officially submitted. So what does all this tell us? Well, on the surface, this filing is about a specific adjustment to CEO compensation due to changes in stock prices. It highlights how companies manage executive pay when the market moves in unexpected ways. In this case, the company proactively addressed a situation where a change in stock price would have significantly altered the intended economic value of a granted stock option. By granting restricted stock units, they are ensuring that the executive's incentive compensation remains aligned with the initial agreement, even with market fluctuations. Looking at the bigger picture, this isn't necessarily a sign of financial distress or an unexpected boom. It's more about the mechanics of executive compensation and how contracts are designed to handle different economic scenarios. While we don't have a full financial picture from this specific 8K, it does show a company that is paying attention to its executive agreements and trying to maintain fairness and alignment in its compensation structure. The key takeaway here is the transparency in adjusting compensation based on market conditions, which can be a positive sign for good corporate governance, ensuring that incentives remain motivating and fair for leadership. It's a reminder that behind every stock price is a complex web of agreements and decisions that impact the company's leadership and, ultimately, its direction. Alright, That is our breakdown of this Warner Bros. Discovery filing. What is your take on how executive compensation is adjusted in situations like this? Do you think it is fair? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord linked in the description for more in-depth discussions. Thanks for watching. See you next time.